Right, welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with Chairman Justin Rees. Justin, in this section we're going to get into the finances and a bit more about the sort of the redevelopment of Roots Hall. So, starting on the finance side of things, I know there's little bits and pieces of it covered in part 1. A lot of this you might have already sort of glazed over, but there is the age-old debate in this division. You know, budgets. We very loosely touched on the likes of York and Forest Green. Forest Green being a main example because quite recently some of their numbers went public and there was a lot of conversation around like the astronomical figures that they're paying on players' wages, which we're obviously like not in a position to do. But on the face of it, at the time of recording, you look at the league table, they're only one place above us in the league. We've got a significant amount of games in hand on them. So it begs the question, is that level of investment really worth it? Is that really sort of setting you apart from the rest in this division that are ultimately going for promotion?
Well, I mean, certainly money matters. The correlation between spend and success is high. Yeah, you spend more, you tend to do better. Your best guess of prediction is if you spend the 10th most amount on wages, you should expect to finish 10th, generally. But of course, if it was that simple, it would be such a boring sport. You know, I think we've really got to not focus on. So the reason it's important for us to be, we've got to be aware of what Forest Green and Rochdale and York and those guys spend, because we've got to be realistic with our targets. You know, you can't tell Kevin to finish first by 10 points and not be cognizant that maybe others are spending more. But you've also got to be careful that we're pretty logical people. That whole, if you spend 5th, your default should be 5th. It's good to be balanced with your expectations, but you've got to be careful we're not allowed to finish higher than 5th because we only spend 5th. So there's a realism aspect and a relative aspect, but it can't be everything. Bromley are top of League 2 at the moment. There's no way they're spending most of League 2. So we've got to be aware that other people are spending more. What matters more than how much you spend is how well you spend it. If you've got a squad of 40, half your budget's not lining up on Saturday, so it's irrelevant, actually. So some of the numbers you see and the money that went out, what's more relevant is how much of it's on the pitch, how good did you buy it for, how good are their team spirit, did the players all click, that stuff. So we're never going to ignore the bigger the budget, the better your chances. We've increased our budget for a couple of years, but you've got, at some point you've got to focus on yourself. This is the amount of money that we can afford to spend on football this year. It's more than last year. It may or may not be more than next year. We've got to look at a whole range of factors and decide this is how much we can spend. And then we've got to go, are we spending it well? You know, are we doing well in the transfer market? Are we negotiating well with agents on deals? Because that's what you can control. You can control that. Yeah. You can't control that Dale wants to spend a bit more at Forest Green. Like, good luck to it, by the way. Good for them.
Oh yeah, it was. I've used that as the example.
Yeah, they're relative
because the figures went public.
Yeah, and I get it. And I think we talked offline. You know, if you live in a house and you're happy, and your neighbour wins the lottery and buys a Ferrari, you don't become unhappy just because your neighbour's got a better car. You focus on you and
yourself always get.
You be at your best and control the controllables.
Yeah. Is there also like within that a conversation to be had about living within your means? Because for so long, but I think a lot of supporters of this club are still scarred from years of us not doing that under the previous ownership. So it's a difficult, you've used that word balancing a lot, but it is a difficult balancing act in the expectations of those supporters, because for so many years we did spend more, invest more, and it didn't work. So what would you rather us do? Would you rather us take the more sustainable approach that we're sort of clearly going for at the moment, or chuck a load of money at it, which guarantees you nothing?
Well, you say that we're clearly going for the sustainable. We're not sustainable at the moment. We lose 2.4 million. We spend 50% more on the football side than we did 2 years ago. So I wouldn't. I know we've said we want to move towards sustainability, but let's. I think everyone needs to. We're not there yet. We're not even close to there yet. You'd argue we haven't even taken steps towards it yet. We're going to lose this more this year than last year because we've invested on the pitch and we don't have the infrastructure that allows us to grow revenues. We can't be putting on events. So I know there's a lot of, we're going the sustainable route. Damn. We do want to get there eventually, but the way we get there is not, we need to spend our way to sustainability. There's no way of, we've got to renovate the stadium, 20 million for the east. We want to develop the car parking area. That could be another 15. I don't want to be flippant with these numbers. They're big numbers. Football's become a bit desensitised because, of course, there's such wealth in football that you can become a bit desensitised, because even small clubs are losing bucket loads of money, so it can become a bit. It's lost touch with reality a bit, but they're big numbers. So you have to live within your means. Obviously, every club's means. Southend United doesn't live within Southend United's means. It lives within the means of its owners at the moment. That is the reality. Forest Green live within the means of its owner, and York, frankly, everyone, right? So we set budgets based on what we can afford as a group. Back to that word balance, right? We have to renovate this East End. It's not optional. It'll be 20 million. We have to develop the area out there. It'll be a bunch. It's logical to develop the training ground. I guess we don't have to, but it's a smart thing to do. And if you fast forward and we do all those things, whoever the manager is should be able to have a bigger budget than they would have otherwise had without it. You call it sustainable revenue. It's revenue that will repeat if you're renting things out or doing events. So we want to build sustainable revenue streams to allow the budget to increase without it just being an expectation that we just lose more. At the moment we're in the more budget equals we will lose more because some of these other things will take longer to build.
Have these sort of figures sort of scared you or shocked you?
Well, luckily it's pounds. If it was Aussie dollars, I'd double it. So 20, not as bad as 40.
It's about 20 then like 15 maybe. It's like 35. So
and I don't want to, by the way, I don't want to come across as arrogant that I'm just throwing these numbers around flippantly. I guess I'm so used to talking about them. They're not insignificant.
It's a lot of money.
But we're not we're not a poor club in the National League. I suspect maybe top 6 budget. But I don't know exactly whether Scunthorpe spend a bit more or not. So don't hold me on it. We know we're not the top spenders, but we're not poor either.
No.
We shouldn't be going to teams with our little hat out. We've got a competitive budget in this league, and if we go up the leagues like we hope, I'd love for the day where we're the poorest team in the league because it probably means we've gone up a few. But we are where we are. And again, I focus on, are we at our best? Are we doing the right things? Are we improving? If we get something wrong, and I get stuff wrong, we all get stuff wrong. But do you learn from it and do something slightly different next time? Or do you attribute it to luck? They're the things I like to control. And the joy is when we get promoted, we won't feel like, we just bought it. It was a fait accompli. We'll have earned it. We'll have earned it. As a club, we'll have earned it.
It really means more anyway.
I like to think so. Given we don't have the alternative of buying our way out, I agree. And I think sometimes I think football's so impatient. I was thinking about something the other day. We all know that football fans are not super patient or super calm, right? That's a general statement I think we can all buy into. Every club has them. We've got whatever. Every club thinks they should win the league or do whatever. But if you said to most fans, what are your hopes for next season? And they said, I just want to be one position higher than this season. So in our case, 6th. I think you'd go, that's modest and arguably unambitious. But if every club wants to go up one spot, only half of them can. It's a zero-sum game. Improvement, even modest improvement, in a competitive industry. Football is competitive. English football is the pinnacle of football. It's super competitive. Everyone's trying to improve. Like I said earlier, we're better this year, I think. Notwithstanding a couple of injuries that have been problematic. I think we're better in lots of different ways. Depth, squad size, overall talent, I think. But other teams are also better. Everyone's striving to get better. You overtake one team and Someone else comes along and becomes difficult.
There's 24 teams in the league. Like.
It's what attracts everyone to English football. More and more down the pyramid now. But it's hard. But like I said, we're not sustainable. We want to get there eventually, but we're not there yet. And that's why we've got to be balanced and modest and considered with where we spend money on, off, near-term, long-term, real estate, football.
Yeah, well, the bit you said about be our best, I think that's kind of stuck with me. Or made me think actually, like if every team's obviously striving to go one step further. So then, when it comes to like the spend of what other clubs are doing, how relevant is that totally? Because obviously, be the best, and then if you've got everything right and everything's structured and you've got the Southend United way and that's working. So another club spending double the budget doesn't necessarily mean they're ahead of that if everything's working.
Well, again, big part of success is what goals did you set. If you're modest with your goals and mid-table is fine, then we're probably going to exceed it. If we're super optimistic and say win the league or nothing, by definition this year we're not going to win the league. So a lot of it comes down to being realistic with your goals. Otherwise you just set yourself up for angst and frustration. But make sure as well that you're not... All this stuff I'm saying, I think it's important as a chairman to be balanced and considered, not reactive, but you've got to be careful that the culture doesn't become our place in this world is 7th in the National League. We need to be able to... I don't know if I'm articulating this very well. We need to, we need to be balanced and sensible in some ways, but we need to leave space for ambition. We have that. We don't want to be in the National League. But we should also accept you can finish 2nd or 7th and go up either way. So there's lots of different stuff.
Last year, you finished 30 points out of 10.
Yeah, and if we'd have gone up, we'd have been happier than York. But we can't have said we were a better team than York last year, even if we'd have beat Oldham. There's lots of different things. I'd rather go up in 7th than be 2nd. Don't get me wrong. It's about outcomes in the end. I just feel like we've got to... I think in football, a lot of it, everyone looks at everyone else, maybe in life as well, right, without being too dramatic. Everyone looks at everyone else and what they have. When we set our budgets, we want to win football games. All of us love football. I've never built a flat in my life. I'm not a property guy. None of us are. A lot of what we talk about is real estate, flats, and stadium renovations, because that's what this football club needs. Not because it's our passion. It's not. It's not our vocation. It's a means to the end. The end is a football club that is the pride of the city. It's a great place to come, not just on a match day. It's the hub of everything. And if we do all that, I think it will support the playing budget, which will support a promotion, whether it's now, later. So it all sort of adds up together, and we will put more money on the pitch whenever we can, and we have shown that. We have increased the budget year on year. We'll keep doing that if we can, but we can't guarantee it because we've got other stuff that needs to happen pretty importantly.
I often like to speculate a little bit, just only because I find it very fascinating with the National League, and we see budgets printed and we see what clubs are spending, especially when we have Wrexham in the league, and they obviously like to talk about what they were spending and whatnot, and they obviously documented the whole thing. With the kind of the way that the National League is structured, and obviously they're pushing for the 3 up, 3 down, do you think there's going to come a point where other teams see that consistent investment and constantly improving what they spend on wages as a means to get out of the league, the longer it goes on with only 2 up, 2 down, is this National League going to become a very expensive league to seemingly compete in?
Well, it already is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it already is.
Is that going to continue to go up where it's like it's 1.5 million, that's 2.5 million, 3.5 million to get out? Then you can almost like just leapfrog League 2 at that point, because we're just building up this momentum of...
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is I don't know. I know part of the 3 up discussions is around whether there's some sort of squad cost ratio management put into the National League, because at the moment EFL clubs operate within a framework and we don't.
Yeah.
I confess I'm not as across the detail and the implications of that. It's an expensive league at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because of 2 up versus 3 up, or if just everyone wants to get out of the National League and people with money.
It just looks like a bottleneck, doesn't it, of teams thinking it's trying to outspend each other to go up. Obviously Barnet with the exception of that.
Well, I don't think Barnet... I wonder whether Wrexham and Stockport spent a bucket load of money. And sometimes we gravitate on those examples instead of just saying, okay, they're different. But Bromley, I don't think Barnet were ridiculous in their spend.
No.
I mean, Oldham's don't think were ridiculous with their spends. I mean, everyone spends a lot.
Yeah.
Some spend more than others, but I think Wrexham was probably the outlier. Don't quote me, Stockport fans, but I think Stockport spent a bunch.
Yeah.
But I think, again, maybe we should look closer to home to the Bromleys.
Mm.
Barnet, again, they spent well and they built. You know, none of these teams really came from nowhere, other than Wrexham.
Mm.
They built. Even Wrexham had a second go at it, right? The first year they missed out the playoffs.
It was just a sleeping giant, though, that one, wasn't it? It was, I think a lot of it was just lying almost dormant there. And yes, it took like a lot of that's next level money, what went in there. But
they've spent it well, to be fair, though. I mean, Wrexham will always have an asterisk against them, but I mean, one thing I've seen from the inside of a football club is even with bucket loads of money, it's hard to build a squad and regenerate a squad and team harmony and all that sort of stuff. They've refreshed their squad pretty really.
And to have continued going through the leagues like
you've got
that.
to give
We'll say this on the last episode.
Championship as well now.
So they'll always have that asterisk, but
I don't think
fair play to
they
them.
warrant it. I think a lot of fans maybe get a bit bitter and go, they bought their way. And what has been publicised, it looks like they've spent the money well.
it looks to me like they have.
Yeah.
They were clever. You know.
Yeah.
But if you spend more, you're more likely to win. But it doesn't make it a formality, and well done to them. But I think it's an expensive league to get out of.
Yeah.
I don't know the influence of 3UP on that.
Do you feel it happened, Justin?
3UP, it's really interesting because the general view is that the Football League clubs won't vote for it because it's not in their interest. I mean, I have a different view, and when I've floated my different view, I have been told I'm an idiot, so I'll float it publicly here and stay off Twitter for a bit. But there's 24 teams in League Two. If they all vote for it today and wait till the end of the year, 2 of them are going to wish to God they voted for 3UP because they've gone down anyway, and they'll be facing what we're all facing, the abyss. One of them will be devastated. Damn it, I voted for it and I'm down and I'm third place. And the rest, by definition, will be unaffected. So every year, most won't care and
21
2 will wish they
won't
voted
care.
for it and 1 won't. So 2 against 1, my view is they should play the long game and vote for it because if you're circling the drain that you're that much worried about 3UP versus 2UP, there's a chance you drop off a cliff. So you're better off, in my opinion, voting for a chance that says you have more protection and more chance to get back.
Yeah.
So I have that view,
exactly
but
this,
smart people in the consortium have called me a moron when I floated that view, and they are smarter than me.
Yeah.
So if they consent, you let me know.
I don't know.
You let me know. But
I don't think that's a bad way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think it's the right thing to do, but we can to vote for it, and we can part the moral.
Yeah.
I think it's the right thing to do, but I do wonder whether it is actually more in their interest to vote for it.
Yeah, that's why I said that's my whole argument, wasn't it? With the
because on the face of
it, quality
drops
off.
I feel like they're stagnating. They're not getting the fans in because you've got clubs maybe from 11th down to 19th. They're losing. They're only winning like 28% of their games a season. Is that going to bring young people into that club as an exciting prospect? It's not. But you can come down to the National League. If you've got a way back in, there's a way. Like Southend's attendance went up when we came down because I don't know. There's more excitement to take over and brighter times. We're winning more games. So young supporters are going to look at that and go, okay, I'll watch Southend play because they do well. Versus losing 60% of your games in League Two year on year and staying up because it's.
I think so. I think there's something in that, right? And I think the whole point of promotion, relegation, playoffs is so that you have less dead rubbers.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it would just be top 2, 3, 4 past the post. You have football's about excitement. It's about keeping everyone interested. So I think the downside for their league is that you get more dead rubbers and you don't have to have as high quality to survive, and you can probably run on a shoestring and do a punt in January. So, do I think it'll happen? I'm not. I don't know. But we'll just focus on us and hopefully go up anyway. And then remind me that I've got to stay true to my vote, otherwise I look like a proper hypocrite.
Well, if we went up and then they changed the rules and we finished third and bottom went down, at least we know that there's a way back in. I wouldn't begrudge that if we went up and then they changed the rules and we finished third and bottom because I'd go, well, that's what we wanted. And I wouldn't be against it. I'd go because now we've got a way back in.
I'm very publicly committed to it, so trust me, I'll be with you. I'll be with you, Ollie, but I'm not sure whether our fellow fans will be with us.
So if we go up and then the vote comes around, you vote for it.
100%.
Yeah, kind of have to now.
I think it's the right thing to do.
100%, unless to the I think it's the right thing to do. you can't say it suits me now and then not.
Yeah, because I guess on the face of it, you would look at it and go, well, obviously the National League clubs are going to say yes, and obviously the Football League clubs are going to say no. But I think
I don't think it's that obvious. I think they should vote for it,
Yeah.
even if they voted out of self-interest. It is in their interest to give themselves a greater protection if 2 of the 3 scenarios that really are relevant happen. But I'm not in the vote. I hope to be at the voting table next year as part of the EFL, but we'll see.
You've touched on the East Stand redevelopment and sort of the external revenue streams that opens up and brings in for the club as well. Obviously, like a huge development, not something that's going to happen overnight. Is there a timeline?
We've just pretty much about to sign off the concept plans, the first phase of design, which we started. I'm going to get this wrong. Did we start it in April? Maybe we started in April, I can't remember.
At some point.
It's been a while, and we were looking at different East Stands, and we started off with, I like that East Stand. 35 million. Okay, give me a new.
What, you don't like it that much?
I don't like it as much as I did yesterday. So it's been that, and of course, also with the development, it's one master plan, so it's also the car park and all that sort of stuff, right?
Okay.
So we pretty much got a way forward. Haven't actually gone through it with all the COSU guys yet. I mentioned before, we divide and conquer and we bring each other in at the right time. But ostensibly, we kind of have it. If fans are going, but hold on, we haven't been engaged yet. We're not at that point. It's at the high level spatial mapping, what capacity and rough stuff. We'll get fans involved later. We're just about to kick off what is the next phase, and more of a design phase now where they crack on and get in some of the detail. You asked me for a time. I've got to get better at my answers. I'm so long-winded, mate. Oh my God.
No,
listen to myself
don't
back
apologise. It's great for podcasting.
When I listen to myself back,
You've listened to us before. We've gone for
awful. Go on and on and on. Look, I'll just be honest. Everyone relax. But I want to set aggressive targets and not be afraid that maybe we miss it, rather than set really conservative targets and
you missed those.
be excited that I achieved it, right? We want to build it ASAP. The design will now commence. The earliest we could knock something down would be like June 27.
Okay.
But don't put that in a little dinky diary and think that's going to happen.
There will be somebody out there.
Someone will.
Someone said to me we were doing it in May 26. I'm like, surely I was never done enough to commit that. But I have to maybe look back at the archives. I'm like, May 26. I don't think we ever committed that. But if I did, apologies, I got it wrong. But I think May 27 would be the earliest. But there's a lot that needs to go on. The architects will crack on design now, but there's planning permissions. Neighbours will want consulting. Fans will want consulting. We need to find 20 million. It's not just sitting there. Some of it should come from the Fossetts development.
Yeah.
But that has to be built out for us to get the money. That's not going to be built in a year, right?
That's not quick.
So, do we borrow the balance? I can say May 27, but there's a lot.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
With all this stuff, you mentioned when does the 5-year plan start, right? Again, guys, we set targets, and I'm happy to be called on and say, hey, you said this was your target or that, or women's semi-pro teams. Not every objective we set will be met when we met it. And we should update on that, right? Otherwise they mean nothing. But if you're ambitious in life, you'll miss the odd goal. Again, so it's really important we do it. This stadium is on its last legs.
Yeah.
So we will do it as fast as possible. Big focus of mine now is finding the funding and the model to get it built. And we're still looking at what we want to build in and around to go with it. So it's a huge project.
Yeah.
Does the division the club is in, does that have an impact on how and when you do the development? Because will we be a season without the East Stand, I assume?
There will be a season without the East Stand, but that's inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, maybe a builder says, actually, guys, good news, we can knock it all down in May and put some fake seating in front of it. I don't know. Let's just assume.
Never trust a builder.
Let's just assume the East Stand's offline for a year or so for now. That's the sort of default assumption. So it means everyone will need to go into the east, the south, the other three, which means we probably want to do a bit of touching up of those other three prior to that happening. We want to do some work in the west this summer and finally solve the west toilets issues and the west roof issues and some other issues in the west. So we'd like to do that this summer. That's a real big focus at the moment. So that will be important. The south probably needs a lot less than the west, for example.
Yes, yeah.
I would love to activate the area behind the north. At the moment, there's nothing. There's no car park there. But we're focusing on the west for now, and then we'll turn our attention to the north, particularly because the north bank's there and they've got one little place to. But you've got to start somewhere. So the west is our priority. There is a couple of things we can do to increase the capacity. I think we're trying to bring, is it X and W? What are those two little blocks in the north?
The little
I
corner.
think they're coming online again soon, which will add a few hundred. And there's
Was that an issue with the roof above those blocks?
I don't think so. No, I think our man Mick Maddox from Emerson's is all over it. He does everything. So I think they may have had previous issues. Now I think it's literally just the back paneling in the seats and everything on. So I think they'll do that. And when we're doing the back of the west, there's some stuff we can do within the stadium for the west that can bring a bit more capacity online. So we'll up the capacity a little bit for when the east is offline, but it might be that we have a capacity of 8,000 for a bit, or 8.5, and hopefully we fill it.
But that's sort of it's in my notes. Like practically speaking, we are averaging 7,000, like possibly a bit more than that. There's naturally the conversation to be had that in this league, there's never loads of away fans. Like so, a lot of that is built up of the home fans. That is incredible home numbers. So you've already answered my question. But would there have to be like a short term? We can't get everyone in.
It depends how you look at it, though, right? Like I think before we bought what was offline? I can't remember. Oh my God, Northwest Quadrant was offline for a while. I think for a while, wasn't our capacity like recently like 9,000?
Yeah. Without that,
we had some stuff offline, and then we brought it back on, and we got to 10ish. So I don't think we're going to be that dissimilar. We have 12,300 seats, but we're not allowed to use them all. We have these things called P factors and S factors. P is the physical condition, and S is a safety thing. So because we're not in the world's most modern stadium, they say, hey, you've got 12,500 seats, but for these different reasons, you can't use them.
You can't use them.
And we were at 9, and now we're at 10.5, I think.
Yeah.
And when the east goes offline, you might go, well, 10.5 drops to 8. But then there's some other work we can do to get it back up to 9. So I don't.
Yeah.
And again, we have
too much of a hit.
So we have 5,000 season tickets, right? So the season tickets will be fine. I mean, the people in the east will have to be somewhere else. That's just life. And if we sell out with 8,000 or 9,000 and the 10th out, I mean,
I think we'll be fine. Keep our fans in that northwest quadrant. If say in League Two, because obviously teams like Gillingham and Colchester would regularly bring over 2.5 if they could.
I mean, some of this, where the away fans are based on where they are now, sort of suits. It kind of just works logistically. When the East End goes offline, maybe they stay there, maybe they don't. When there's a new East, the architects are probably thinking about that. And the police. Not sure we want Colchester fans and our fans just wandering in together. And
no, they've always been segregated, haven't they? They used to have their own little access point, didn't they?
So some of that stuff, the architects and the other, it's not really my forte. But if I could move them to the worst part of the ground, I would. Because that's not great.
Sunflower.
If you just talking rationally about that, it's feasible to get all season holders in, isn't it?
Well, we've got 5,000, so we're never going to be below 5,000. So in that sense, it's fine. And we'd probably have to have a cap on season tickets. Actually, would we? I don't know. Detail, let's go back high level. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll see how the end
we'll
of the
figure it
season
out.
goes.
But I'll tell you what, if the East End's knocked down, it means it's actually finally going to happen. We've been talking about a stadium development for a while, haven't we? So
it's exciting.
I think so.
I think we're just about ready to move on to a few questions that come in. I'm just sort of flicking through them now because some of them you have literally already answered. There was one here about the toilet situation in the West. That's already been addressed. Let's try and find one here. Yeah, we've got one. If investing in infrastructure is the long game, would investing more heavily in the squad accelerate promotion, increase revenue, and fund infrastructure faster? Short-term push versus a long-term platform.
Yeah, I think the problem is that. Hello, who's joining us? Hello.
Oh, sorry guys.
Go away, Dave. I think we are actually, Dave. Can you go away?
Oh no. You should have put a sign on the door.
No crailings. There's a
Leave that in.
So what were we talking about? Go again. Short-term investment. Would
Short-term push versus a long-term.
And it's funny, right? If we get promoted, it'd be good for finances. More money comes in, as long as we didn't spend more the money that comes in, all of it on players, and we're balanced. Our assumption is it'd be really good for finances. We're talking about finances now, right? But I get there's a view of we'll just get promoted, then build a stadium, right? But if we spend another $500,000, we still won't be the highest spenders in the league. So if someone said, "Give me £2 million right now, and I'll promote you," we'd pay it in cash. We'd probably tip the person that gave us that deal. But there's no guarantees. So it's gambling, right? We spend more on the football team where we can, and we think more money gives us a better opportunity. But what is the number to spend that guarantees you promotion? Because Wrexham apparently spent $4 million the first year and didn't go up. So if you spend that, the money's gone. If you spend it on real estate, it's not gone. It's an asset that will continue to give you money forever. It's gambling. There is no set budget that will give you promotion. You spend more, great, but there's no set number. So it's just not an argument I can get behind, So the extension of that question is, which is more important, the East End or promotion? The East End. Because if the East End is not invested in for another 10 years, there'll be a point where we're not allowed to play in it. That is existential. Our job is to keep the club going. It's not to keep the club going as long as we're in League Two. It's to keep the club going. The East End is essential. Promotion is a desire, but it's not essential. We can live here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if push came to shove, it's the East End. But if we could get promoted, it would be good for the East End. So what we haven't done is strip the budget all the way down to 10th, 15th to put all the money into the East End. I think we are trying to be balanced. We're trying to be a top 6-ish budget. So we haven't we do want to go up. And we have improved each year. I don't know, hopefully I've answered the question.
I think so. Next one is quite a blunt and to the point one. Is the current squad capable of promotion?
So of course it is. If you agree that this squad is better than last year's, and last year's went 10 minutes from promotion, well then of course it is. So is Rochdale's, so is York's, so is Carlisle's. Not sure about Forest Green's. So I think it is.
I love that everyone gets the little. Everyone has the little.
Well, it's safer. They've got less fans to call us out on. So I mean, I think it is, but I also respect some of the others. It's going to come down to fine margins. You know what? Everyone's got to get behind the team, right? Tonight, Boreham Wood. It's going to be fine lines. They're a good side. The crowd, honestly, it's a cliche. The crowd can be that difference.
Especially with 10 in the last 15 at home.
Yeah, we've got to get behind the guys. You've got to believe they can go up. If you're logical, you've got to accept that we might not. But yeah, I think the squad's good. We've got to keep an eye on all these games. Do we get an injury? Does Kevin need another player in, like he did with Golding with Nathan's injury? Kevin will manage that. Him and John have been him and John have dealt with harder times in terms of squad numbers than they're dealing with this, right? So I wouldn't be too anxious about the fixture pile up, because they can dip in, and they haven't got the biggest squad, but they've got a lot of depth. There's not a huge drop off between starters and backups. There's no stocking fillers in the squad. So they're experienced guys. More experienced than me, right? So I think we've got a really good squad. It's a shame we've got a couple of key injuries, but it's a competitive league. It's a really competitive league. It's a high quality league. So anything can happen, and hopefully we all get behind them and we have a good end of season.
There's one here which I think I can't remember if we were on or off mic when you did touch on this, but it's how does the scrutiny of being a football club chairman compare to other non-football roles that you've had? They're obviously a lot less public.
There is no comparison. No one cared what I did before this, right? No, I had a business it was an IT business. I mean, no one cared. we cared. No one cared. Maybe your family every now and then asks what's going on. Here, everyone cares, right? It's got a very public profile. Everyone cares about it. Everyone has an opinion on it, and everyone everyone in the city who's different from all walks of life all coalesce on the football club. So I mean, there's no the comparison is impossible. It's chalk and cheese, and yeah, it is what it is. I know it comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
I guess all I can do is explain our decisions and respect the fact that the passions and even the people that don't agree with us, it's their club and they love it and they want explanations. And once you give it, you can't expect everyone to agree with you. You hope that they understand why you did it, and that you're trying to do it for the right reasons. You don't expect everyone to agree with you.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's not the objective.
Last one.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to any young fan about the future of this football club?
Oh, wonderful question.
Whose question was that?
Mine.
Nice. Question, Scott.
That's why it's last.
Yeah, I mean, the young fans are the future of the football club, right? So I think you want them to feel represented in their club. I think you want them to feel proud and enjoy coming to Roots Hall. So I think I put a lot of focus on the match day experience. Because you can't get your joy and love from your football club just based on your league position or your league. Because the better we go, the more promotions we'll get. If we go really, really well, we'll probably suffer a relegation at some point. You've got to find a connection point that's bigger than the results. I think you've got to find meaning with it. Often it's you go with your granddad or you go with your daughter. Find that connection in your club. So we want to be a family club, a community club. We want the young fans that ask me this hypothetical question to, I guess, answer it themselves. What club do you want? Be involved in it. Be active in it. We talked about the Shrimpers Bar stuff offline. I love that project. For all the stuff we're doing and all the money we're talking about, a bunch of volunteers came together and said, we could just wait until we knock it down for an East End, but we've been saying that in all sorts of different ways for 20 years here. We got together, we painted together, they let me paint a door. I wasn't allowed to do anything else. And we just did something. Modest, 10 grand, something. But we just, you sort of that be the change you seek type stuff, So I think we'll end up being a football league club. I think we'll end up with a stadium and a facility that we can be proud of. And when you drive past in Southend and you're not even a football fan, you feel maybe something different than when you walk past now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we want, and we just want it to be the hub of the community. We want everyone to come together here and leave their differences and their troubles, and we want them to debate how annoying the chairman is and the lineup and why did he pick him, and that's the beauty of football, right? Is debate and stuff, and we just want it to be the heartbeat of your town, our city.
Love that.
The place.
Perfect.
Yeah. You watch it. I'll see a little kid outside. They'll ask me that. There's no way I'll give that answer. What are you talking about? But
I think that's a great way to finish, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, good.
I think we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cheers, man.
Cheers, lads.